All right, we're back. Let's see, today is Tuesday, the 24th. It's currently 11:18. Um, yeah. Okay, so today I took one break even trade and one L, right? So I am not currently in my regular setup. Usually I'm outside my house, so yeah, it's gonna be a little different. Now, okay, so today we did have 9:45 news coming out. That's really the only thing I was waiting for. Today really news was nothing really anything crazy. Honestly, price action today wasn't really the best, to be honest. At least not that I think so. But then again, I did take it out on my end. Also, just for reference, I did take a loss last week. I think Wednesday. I just didn't post it because honestly, the loss was just it could have been inevitable and honestly nothing crazy. It was just a bad loss, honestly, and honestly, it wasn't even worth posting it given how bad it was, to be honest. Yeah. So with that being said, just coming into market, I had a really neutral bias. Really, I was looking. I wasn't really looking for anything particularly. Maybe longs, but very neutral biased. I honestly didn't know what we wanted to do. One, because well, we did take obviously this internal low here on Nasdaq, and so did we on the S&P here. Obviously, we had a nice expansion upwards here because we have a nice expansion up here, right? But then on the S&P, we do have this large daily gap here, which we wicked into, right, and respected, right? The Nasdaq didn't really have that here, but we did have this 4-hour gap here and these relative equal highs we took out. From there, we left this large 4-hour gap, and yesterday was no trades. It was really choppy, but today at open, what basically I was looking for us to do is ideally take out this draw right here, for us, right? So this is for our minimum low, right? So this is kind of where I messed up a bit. Maybe perhaps I could have taken an entry somewhere in this area. So obviously here we tap into this 4-hour gap here, right? We're respecting this 4-hour gap. Honestly, I was leaning less bearish, to be honest, because this 4-hour gap was holding us here. And on top of that, we did also have this small yet relevant for our BPR gap, which we held up until the 10 a.m. the 10 o'clock candle closed. So with that being said, I was looking for us to look for longs here off of this 4-hour gap. So actually, let me actually just come back and replay real quick. So let's replay back to, let's see, let's go to 9, let's go to 9 o'clock. Okay. So let me actually just mark this ticket, get rid of this stuff here. Okay. So in simple, I was looking for longs a little bit more because of this 4-hour intermittent low that was sitting right below us here. So we have this 4-hour right here. I was waiting for us to take out ideally right here. Yeah, so let me zoom in on the 15-minute here, right? So once again, we're obviously in this case tracing away from this zone up here. In this case, I'm just marking out this 4-hour gap here. We took out this internal high here. We also do have an SMT, I believe. Yeah, we took out this internal high here. Actually, no, we create equal highs here. I'm lying. Oh, right. So this is what happens. So basically, at open, we have this 15-minute gap right here, right? So let me actually move forward here. So we have this 15-minute gap right here, right? Let me just mark it out properly. We have a 15-minute FEG about to form right here, right? This is the 8:45 candle. Actually, I'm lying. Hold on, let me actually, boom. This is 9 o'clock. Let's go, boom. This is the 9:30 candle. Let me actually go back real quick. Let's go back to the 5-minute here. Replay, boom. Let's go back here. So we have this 15-minute gap we have here at open, right? In this case, once again, my bias is kind of on either end because we could either push down here into this 4-hour intermittent low, or we could push up higher towards London highs and these relative equal highs sitting above us, right? I was leaning a little bit more bullish because of the fact that we were holding that 4-hour gap down there and the 4-hour BPR too. So I was kind of just waiting for that to kind of get tapped into before expanding up higher. But we also did have an SMT at these lows, which was kind of once again leaning me a little bit bullish. So this is the first trade that could have been taken, but I didn't take. At open, we did end up tracing into this unfilled 15 minutes right here. So let me actually mark that out. So at open, we expanded higher into this unfilled 15-minute gap up here. right here and very nicely. And in the 30-second, there was a potential 30-second entry here, right? So what I would have probably taken here off of this entry here was we get this 30-second inversion here. But for additional confirmation, because it is before 5 o'clock, I probably would have taken a entry at my CISD right here. So I see this running to its thing. There's a CISD right here that occurs, right? Once that confirms, if I were looking to take a short off of this, I probably would have taken a trade here at the high and probably targeting obviously the 4 hour in a minute a little bit lowest, but probably just a little 1-on-1 RR. So something like this could have maybe dragged it down towards the concentrated encroachment of the 4 hour gap, potentially speaking, which would have been somewhere down here, which we actually do end up going to, but I think a quick little 1-on-1 would have been fine as well, right? So let me ask you what the hell was going on here. Okay, boom. So what ends up happening is we actually would have taken an entry here, potentially speaking. We do wick back into CISD here. And then from there, we deliver back down, breaking even after breaking below this low. And then we deliver down the lower. So I was actually looking for that to take an entry off of that initially. But because there was this 2-minute gap right here, I kind of wanted to see us inverse this gap first before we actually take an entry of any kind, which we end up not getting, right? So my second entry basically was a long. What I like to see is that for one, we do have an SMT with the 15-minute gap up here on NASDAQ. And as we can see here, the S&P does never taps into the unfilled 15-minute above us. And we create relative equal highs above us here very nicely. So what do we end up doing? We end up pushing lower into concentrated encroachment of this 4-hour gap, from which we get a very nice delivery away from. At this point, we're also at 0.6 to 0.7 the Fibonacci range from the initial displacement we had here, right? So from here to here, right, we are around 0.6 to 0.7 Fibonacci range, which is very nice. Additionally, as confluence, concentrated encroachment of the 4-hour gets tapped into here. So I was looking to take a long off of this 4-hour concentrated encroachment of the 4-hour gap. But what ends up happening here is so I look to take an entry, I believe, in the 2-minute, if I'm not mistaken. I believe maybe we would trace back lower, but yeah, we pull back here a little bit lower. I wait first for the 5-minute to get tapped into, which we do right here. We pull back, we resweep this internal low right here very nicely, I might add, right? We resweep this internal low. And from there, I'm looking for what is most likely, I believe it was a 2-minute, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'll look for this 2-minute IFEG/CISD entry here. So right here, I look for me to break above the CISD for me to take any kind of entry, because I think the 2-minute is fine, but if we really want to trace away from concentrated encroachment, I kind of want to see us deliver all the way from that zone. So here I'm waiting for this to do its thing. We don't get a proper close there. The next candle, I believe, does it. Boom. So my entry occurs here. I'm waiting for a pullback into CISD. I have my entry here, my limit order entry here. Break even. I mean, not break even. I got my stop loss down here, and I'm targeting this internal high, right? So we do end up pulling back into my CISD, right? And I'm looking for us to deliver from this zone. Initially, it was going pretty well, but basically, I end up going break even the minute that these relative equal highs here get taken out on the S&P. I go break even, and then we come back down and get stopped out at break even, which is whatever, fine. My next entry was going to probably be off of this 5-minute, but we ended up just stalling, basically. Throughout the rest of the day, we literally just stalled. We literally just stalled and stalled and stalled. And this is where basically my mistake happened. I took a secondary entry, which was my losing entry, right here. So I was waiting for this to do its thing, right? So I see this large candle here. No, not this one. This is a 950. Yeah, no. I see this right here, basically. So let's go back to select a bar. So I end up seeing this move right here. This nice expansion move here, right? Here I'm thinking that this is looking very AMD-ish to me, right? Accumulation. I'm thinking that this is the manipulation move that we got, right? So I see that this high and this high form an SMT on NASDAQ. We don't take it out on NASDAQ, but we do take it out on the S&P right here, right? Here I'm thinking that that is the manipulation move. And so I'm looking to take an internal 30-second entry off of this. thinking that this is the manipulation leg here. So I end up getting this 30-second inversion here, and I'm waiting for now for us to deliver through to get a CISD here as well, for additional confluence. So what I end up doing is basically I end up taking my entry here. So I got this here, entry here, hoping to deliver down all the way to our previous consecrated encouragement low down here, right? So I do end up taking a limit order entry here. I do believe it is 4 contracts I take. So I let this do its thing. I get stopped out immediately. Obviously this doesn't count, but basically once we tap into my fill, we just push down a little higher and boom, we skyrocket all the way through. I don't really care about this close position here. And yeah, I got cooked. But obviously there's two things that should have told me that that wasn't the move I wanted to see. First off was the fact that this 5 minute right here that we were just kind of dwindling around in was still holding. So we have this small 5 minute gap here still in play that we were still holding here. And we had obviously not taken out this swing high just yet. And we also had a lot of low resistance liquidity sitting above us here. For one on the S&P, but also on the on NASDAQ here. And the manipulation leg wasn't an actual manipulation leg. I kind of forgot the manipulation leg was actually supposed to be a manipulation of an actual swing point or important point. In this case, we took out all this low resistance liquidity here, and we took out this internal 15-minute intermediate high. And off of this, maybe I was looking for a short, potentially speaking, but I ended up taking nothing. But we do end up going down a little lower towards this level here. Boom, very huge wick here. Maybe an entry here could have been possible, but nothing there. So honestly, it does look like we're probably going to be pushing away from this zone. So all this considered, this second entry wasn't really good. I mean, yes, it was AMD-ish, but it wasn't an actual proper AM. It wasn't it wasn't in context of the higher time frame. So in this case, we obviously do bounce around in this area. Once again, the 5 minute though is still holds here, so that should have been my first sign that we probably gonna begin to expand higher. But I could have waited for a better leg, and this was the better leg I should have waited for. So even if I was looking for AMD, this would have been the AMD model I was looking for. I think this is valid. Also on top of that, we do generate low resistance liquidity here for us on the S&P as well. But in this case, the manipulation leg would have been to a more significant point. In this case, this 15-minute intermittent high, and then the point of the S&P. These low resistance liquidity sitting right above us here, which we obviously take out on both of these. And then from there, maybe we could have looked for like a 30-second somewhere here, maybe something like that. But nothing really would have popped up, in which case I would not have taken that trade anyway. So it would have been a break-even point for me, unless I had taken the trade initially at open, which I could have taken on 30-second, but I was waiting on the 2 minutes. So I think that's just kind of more of a, I gotta get in the charts more. Maybe I could do 30 seconds, maybe I could do 1 minute, maybe I could do 2 minutes. It's really more of a thing, just kind of try to figure out what it is that, when's the best time to actually take better trades. Maybe 30-second could be offered, and that could be a good entry, but maybe the 2 minute is better, and that one maybe pans out better. Maybe there's a 4 minute FEG, and I was holding bullish pressure still, hypothetically, something of the sort. So I think I gotta do a lot of more backtesting here. I think there could have been decent trades here. I just kind of messed up here on my on by myself here. With that being said, I think I just have I think one more trade before I bust the accounts that I have, and if anything, probably likely gonna take another. Might just get another regular funded account, try to pass it regularly this time without full porting, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. Yeah, but today was just kind of really iffy, really off. I just need to backtest more probably. Maybe find an actual like model I can follow, something of the sort. But obviously, I need to fix something here of the sort. Um, yeah. With that being said, hopefully tomorrow or next week I could probably get something better. But likelihood is I'm probably gonna be busting this account soon enough, and I'm probably gonna have to go back to just figure something out. Yeah. But yeah. With that being said, that's 1L on the day, minus 500. Yeah, minus 500 on the day. So let's see what happens next time around. Yeah, so I think we do have news coming out. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we do have news coming out tomorrow. Maybe decent news coming out. Today was just 9:45 news. Wasn't anything crazy. But we have no news tomorrow, but we have employment claims on Thursday. And honestly, no news, all things not no good news coming out soon enough. But hopefully price action is better nonetheless. Today price action was kind of iffy, but maybe I should also implement trying to take entries off bat without waiting for the 5 minutes. Kind of maybe see if that helps out. But yeah, with that being said, that is what it is. Got cooked, and hopefully we just do better as a whole. Yeah, deuces.